There are in Microsoft Project many ways of looking at the same information, depending on the slant you're trying to gather. Now, the default view is to look at the Gantt chart, which is the task table on your left and the actual Gantt chart on your right. But we can change to a different view. Now, two other quite popular views are the calendar view and the network diagram. So instead of looking at things in this top left, bottom right flow of task scenario, we can look at the same data, so the same tasks, the same jobs, in two other views. Now, if we go to the view group on the task ribbon, you'll see on the top left, it says we are currently looking at the Gantt chart, and there's a drop-down arrow, where we can see that there are plenty of other views to choose from in here. But let's change to the first in the list, the calendar view. Now, in the calendar view, we look very much like Outlook type calendars. This is month view, so we can see the current month, and we can see each of our tasks actually spread across the dates that they are currently attached to. So move out the old furniture, goes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, we're doing 3 little tasks there, pulling up the old carpet. And then if you can't read a task, if you double click it, it will take you into the task information, take down the curtains, and this will be remove the pole. Then there's the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And then we hit measuring up, and there's some notes attached to that. And then there's a little milestone. So the blue bars are still your tasks, and they are spread across the actual days that they're currently on. The little grey bars here are your milestones, and we have one down here, prep room milestone. And then there's a horizontal line here for your project summary. So my new bedroom, 27.4 days, is the whole project summary. And we can see that spread across the whole lot. Now we can go forward to February, and we see there are a few more tasks in there. Or we can see things on a week basis and go through each week. That way you get more height if there are a lot of tasks happening on each day, which in our case there aren't. Or we have custom where you can decide how many weeks. So I could see 3 weeks at a time, for example. And see I get 3 lines then, as opposed to the 4 if we choose a month, or 5 in a long month. Or we can go straight back to month view. In the calendar on the left here, where we can see the current month, last month, and next month, the weeks that contain our project have little yellow markers next to them, so you know where your project is sat time-wise. So this is the calendar view. It's the same data, it's the same task, it's just presented in that sort of calendar layout, which might be a preference for you or might not. You can access the same information, just double-click a task as we have done in the Gantt chart view, and you're taken into the task information box where you can make whatever changes are required. Add predecessors, change the priority. And then OK makes those changes in both places because it's the same data. Now, if you move away from the time element, because the Gantt chart and the calendar look at your tasks from a point of view of time and how long each task is lasting, if we move to the network diagram, which is also in your drop-down list, the network diagram just looks at the actual tasks, totally regardless of the time element. So we can see in our network diagram right at the start here, that's the project summary task, my new bedroom. These are your summaries. So those are your 4 summaries. And then the next as we go along horizontally, so empty room tasks go across here. And each task is a rectangle with the name of the task, start, finish, ID, duration. And if you double click it, it takes you into the task information. Again, because it's the same information. But what we're losing in the network diagram is that time element. There's no comparison between the tasks as to how long they take as there is in the other 2 views. This is purely job orientated. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. Notice that a milestone is a different shape. It's not a rectangle. It's got its edges chopped off. You can still see the relationship. So we've got arrows going from one task to another. And as we go to the right, we're moving through the tasks in time-wise, in theory, but not really in relationship-wise. And there's another milestone. And as you're moving down vertically, you'll see that these actually line up with different project summaries. And if you actually compress any one of these, you'll find its tasks along here are also hidden. So we go from there to there, and there appears to be a gap, but that's only because we've actually compressed the furniture group. We expand that out, we can then see the furniture tasks, and then we move into the final party. So the network diagram is a representation of the tasks and their relationship to each other, but not of how long each task is going to take. These dotted lines that you can see are effectively the page breaks. So if you wanted to print this network diagram, every time you hit a dotted line, that's another piece of paper. So there's about 11 pieces of paper here to print the network diagram. At any stage, you can always go back to the Gantt chart. So those three views are probably the most popular ones. The Gantt chart is the default and the most popular view, followed probably quite closely by the calendar view, because people like to see things in a calendar layout. They feel comfortable. And then for those just interested in the job structure, not in the time element, we have the network diagram to show the relationship between each of the tasks within your project.